All right, we are back with another podcast episode, and we have had some pretty big news break this week. But before we dive into that news, I just want to say, if you guys have been enjoying the podcast, we would love it if you would give us a review on Spotify and iTunes. If you just hop over to one of those platforms, I'm sure that's where you're listening. Just give us whatever you feel we're worth getting a rating for. It helps the podcast grow, and yeah, we would massively appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
But all right, Will, let's talk about the news. You know what it is. If you guys somehow haven't already heard about this yet, the spin serve is basically toast for 2023. It's not completely official yet. One thing that people have been confusing is the rules committee has voted in favor of getting rid of the spin serve. But how the process works is after the rules committee decides, the board members of USAP also have to vote and agree with that vote. I think there's no way that they don't agree with this one. I think that would be almost insane. But if you want to get technical, it's not really official yet. It's kind of like a 50-50, yes, it's gone. But yeah, so just know that there is still one more vote that has to happen in like October.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know who's on the board, but my presumption is that everybody on the board does not like the spin serve. I just feel like they're older people who don't care for it. They're probably gotten jacked by it, probably got aced by it a few times, so they're like, nope.
I can't remember if I was talking to, who was I talking to? I don't know if it was Sarah or someone else, my wife. Basically, someone was saying, they were like, what if USAP is just tired of people whining about it and they just don't want to hear about it anymore?
Oh, that could be true.
I don't think that's actually it, but I did think from my cynical view that was kind of funny.
I don't know. If I was USAP, I mean, obviously because I'm for the spin serve, but to spite those people whining, complaining about it, I would just been like, nope, spin serve stays, just to mess with them because they've annoyed me so much. I would do that. I'm that petty.
I believe it. I believe it. So tell me about just kind of like what your overall thoughts on the whole thing are. I don't know how much you got to read yourself, but specifically the reasons they gave and then how much you agree versus disagree just with the whole decision to get rid of it.
Okay. I read it maybe like last week and I don't quite remember all the reasons, but I'm assuming that they're all fairly the same. Oh, it's unfair. Oh, not everybody can learn this. Oh, there's not enough space on the court, so you'll get hit into the fence, yada, 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 yada. Was there anything that I'm missing in particular about the main reasonings?
That was mostly it. I think the only other reason was just, I can't remember if they specifically said it goes against the original intent of the serve, but I feel like they said something about like, just that. It goes against the original intent.
Who gets what? You mean the original intent of pickleball in general, or
or how the serve was designed to not be a weapon?
That's silly. How can you? When people say that, I'm just thinking to myself, why do you believe that this is the original intent? How do you know this was the original intent? Is it written down somewhere?
Right. People have gone back and forth on this because I think there isn't necessarily anything that says like...
It's not like there's a constitution of what pickleball is or what pickleball should be. This is decided by the community at large. And because it's so divisive, I mean, this is why we're arguing about it today, why people hate it, why people love it, and so on forth. I'm sure there's a good amount of people that don't really care because they're good enough to return it. They play better. Would you believe that, that they could play better and figure out how to return it? Because, okay, you and I, we went to APP Atlanta, and then I stayed for Peachtree PPA, and we both played 4-0, 5-0, and did you find it very effective? Did you get any, all right, first of all, did you get any aces? That's what I need to know.
In doubles, I definitely didn't, but that was partially because we were on the gym floor. I don't really think I would have gotten any aces, even if we were on a regular court. In singles, maybe I got a couple. There was like one or two guys that I played that didn't look like they were super familiar with it, so I might have gotten a few on them, but all of the opponents that I felt like were harder to play or that like put up really good games, I probably didn't ace them. I just maybe got some weak returns or a few free points from them hitting it out.
Right. And I felt the same way. I felt that the opponents that I played that were going to beat me regardless, right? Mm-hmm. The spin serve didn't do much. But the people that I got the spin serve with, or I didn't really ace anybody, there were just really weak returns or they mishit or what have you. Regardless if I got the spin serve on them or not, I felt that I was good enough that it doesn't matter if I had it or not, I was going to beat them. I played better. I'm a better player. And the spin serve just expedited what was already inevitable. Isn't it an advantage? Right. Yes. Like just with my first round at APP, right? I played against James Bragg. You know, he is a 5-0 player. He won some 5-0 tournaments. He won APP LA, right? Really good player. And I got him the first game, right?
Yep.
He had
and
a tough time.
You had him pretty good in that one. I don't think you aced him, but he was definitely, he would guess the wrong direction and hit a weak return, or he'd hit it long or wide. Like first game, you definitely had him good with it.
Right, exactly. But second game, third game, he adjusted and he destroyed me. Like it wasn't an issue. You got beat.
Yeah.
It wasn't an issue at all. So
I thought you were going to walk over him too. Like after that first game, because I don't remember what score-wise you beat him, but I don't think he got more than 5 points, did he?
I don't think he did. I believe it was 11-4, and I thought so as well. But once he started getting warmed up, and then he was hitting his shots, and he was feeling confident, he was just letting them rip, you know, I couldn't do anything about it, honestly. And I don't know. It's the spin serve, to me, I think it makes better players better if they practice it. And it just, I feel like it is a hard wall or a hard ceiling in skill level, right? Because if anything, in my personal opinion, it increases the skill ceiling for pickleball players. And I personally like it because I feel like it is unique to pickleball compared to the other paddle sports, right? So those are just my quick takes on it. Am I going to be sad that it's gone? Sure. Am I going to be, all up in arms? No, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference, but it was fun.
I definitely share a very similar thought process. One, at this point in this stage of the game, I really don't get that many aces. The only time it happens is if I play against someone who has clearly never played against the serve, which doesn't happen often. Occasionally it does, but not that often, and usually people adapt pretty quick. Like I was saying in the video that I made about this, I probably haven't gotten half as many aces this year with the spin serve as I did last year because people are so used to it. I'd almost be willing to bet you I haven't even gotten a quarter of the amount of aces that I got last year, which to me shows big improvement on people's ability to read and return these, because last year there were some people I could almost just beat purely off the serve. And I see a lot of people arguing on the forums right now, like, yeah, there's people who their whole game is just the serve. And I'm like, who? Like, is it a 4-0 kid playing 3-0s and the 3-0 doesn't know how to return it? Because in my opinion, 4-0 plus really doesn't struggle with the spin serve that much anymore, unless they've never seen it and someone's good at it. That's like the only scenario I'm seeing right now, at least from my personal experience, where that would happen. And agreed. I don't win any games based off my serve. Like similar to what you said, I feel like if you take my spin serve away, I can still beat people with or without it. My life is probably a little bit easier if I have it. You know, you get some, let's just say it's singles. You get some weak returns, you move them off the court, and then like your third shot or your fifth shot is like you finish it or whatever. That can totally happen, but I can't tell you in the last 6 months someone that I beat with the spin serve that I was like, yeah, if I didn't have that, I couldn't beat him.
Right, exactly. And right now, as I am playing better and better people, like my buddy Alvaro and even my friend Gavin and whatnot, when I do the spin serve, I don't even do it that often anymore. I find that because they can read it, it's almost not worth it because of the variability and because sometimes I hit it out. It's almost more effective for me to try and hit a harder, deeper serve against them. If anything, the spin serve to me is a chump check. Like, it's kind of fun to do. Obviously, you want to use your discretion when you use it against new players, maybe older players.
Yep.
But if somebody comes at me and they claim that they're 4-0 or 4-5 and they claim to be really good or whatnot, I throw them a spin serve just to see how good they really are. And it's a hard chump check, because if you really are good, it's not going to bother you. And even if you haven't seen it before and it gets you the first few times after a game or so, you can see it. And if you are actually skilled, you'll be able to return it. And because most of the times my spin serve lands mid or a tad bit short, and it's just a short serve, and then better players will just, dominate or crush the return back. But if I hit a spin serve deep, which is, I think, fairly hard,
I think it's definitely harder to do than a regular serve.
For sure. Hitting a spin serve deep is actually very difficult, at least for me. I have gotten it a few times, but even then, most people don't get fazed by it. At least the people that I play don't get fazed by it.
Yeah, I really do think it became significantly less of an issue. And I see people all over saying like, oh, well, you haven't seen the guy at my court do it. And here's the thing. I'm sure there are people out there who I haven't seen their spin serve, and maybe they truly do have the most ridiculous spin serve. I'm not saying I've seen the absolute best, but I have definitely played with some of the best spin serves in the game. My brother Isaac has a ridiculously good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like anyone who plays him constantly. Yeah, Porter's, from what I have heard and seen myself, his is one of the best in the game. I have been hearing about a number of next-gen kids that also have pretty ridiculous spin serves, and I don't doubt it. I'm sure they do. I've even heard a couple people say they actually had a harder time with those kids' spin serves at next-gen than they did with Porter's. So obviously I haven't experienced it firsthand. I'm sure there are some crazy ones, but in my opinion, if you know how to read it, you solve most of the issue. Are you still going to get weak returns? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I just don't see why that's a bad thing. When you have someone like Deco Bar, who's super tall and can basically hit the ball where almost my chest is.
Right.
I'm like, is this not unfair? Like my weight, like he's striking the ball above the net.
Right. Agreed.
There's just a lot of things that go into it that I don't think it's nearly as unbalanced as people make it sound. And one argument was that, only a few people mastered it. I think more people are capable of learning it, but a lot of people didn't put in the effort. And I've asked a lot of people, like at the beginning of the year, like, oh, are you going to learn the spin serve now that's legal? And they're like, nah, it's totally going to be banned by 2023. So why bother putting in the effort? And I feel like that's why you didn't see as many of them. I think you would have seen more people get used to it, returning it, and doing it if there wasn't this looming thought like, oh, it's just going to get banned, so why bother putting in the effort?
Right, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to see it develop more, honestly. And the real reason why I think people really hate it, and it goes back to, which we talked about before, which is, I guess, my 4 hierarchies of pickleball, which is like receiving, perceiving, and then it's positioning, shot selection, and then it's execution. I think the spin serve attacks all 4 of those because it's really difficult to see and receive or perceive the ball. It gets you out of position if you don't know where it's going to kick, right?
Yep.
And then your shot selection kind of goes out the window because right now you're just worried about getting the ball in, right? And you're not really aiming for a certain side of the court. And then after that, executing the shot that you do decide is rather difficult. But also at the same time, I'm just curious of how many people out there actually work on their returns, right?
Very few because a lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people view the serve as just a get it in, get the point started.
Right, exactly.
So your return, it's some people I think view the return almost as like simple as the serve, where it's like, well, all I got to do is get it in play, and then we'll start it after that. It's like the first 2 shots don't matter.
Right, exactly.
To some
but they
people.
do. They
do. They totally do.
They do. They matter so much, especially at the higher level. So these last 2 tournaments was my first time playing 5-0, and that serve and that return matter so much. It dictates the rest of the tempo of the point and of the game, right? Yep. If you get that deep serve or you get that sweet return and you can kind of go in or be ready or get them out of position, it really does help and dictate the rest of the rest of the game, I think. And I think a lot of people are not giving enough credit to the serve and the return. And in the future, I believe...
Well, I honestly think that's why a lot of people feel so strong about it, is because prior to the spin serve, it's been something that you've been able to get away with not caring about. So that you've built this mentality of like, this isn't supposed to be hard, this part of the game.
Yeah, you got away with being bad. It's okay, let's put it out there. People got away with being bad at the game. Like, if you're listening to this and you couldn't get that spin serve back in, it's because that's the level that you play at and you're bad at the game.
Oh my goodness.
It's just real talk right there.
Will went, holy moly. I wouldn't have gone that far. Will with the straight up savagery today. Holy moly.
And if you're actually good,
gosh.
it doesn't matter because you're going to beat me anyways. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my general consensus, as many reasons as I feel like I have that I think it's silly that we've got rid of it and that I feel like we could have gotten away with keeping it, I also understand getting rid of it in the long term. Like, I do think what the game has been conventionally known for, where like it's longer rallies, the serve is not a weapon. Like, you've obviously got elderly people. So if you've got like a 12-year-old kid showing up and he's just like has absolutely no mercy because at that age you just aren't maybe as socially aware, and you're just like, I'm just going to ace every person here. You're now making it a more frustrating game for people. So I think there are fully valid reasons for getting rid of it. I think some of the ones that USAP listed, not so great. I honestly think they could have just said, you know what, this goes against the original intent of what we think pickleball is, where the serve isn't a weapon. We don't want the game to go that way. Think you could have just dropped it there, but making the argument that like, oh, not that many people could master it, so guess we'll just get rid of it.
Right. I remember you making the argument too, like some people can't Ernie, so we should just get rid of it.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
And
right?
I know, and there are a lot of people who argue against that one. They think it's not a valid argument, and to some degree, I think that's correct. I don't think they're a one-to-one example. With the Ernie, you have to have a certain shot hit to you, or you have to set up the shot in order to hit the Ernie. You can't do it at the start of every single point. With the spin serve, you dictate that shot 100% of the time, no matter what. There's absolutely no influence except for you. So I think that argument's valid, but I think you put yourself on a slippery slope when you say, well, this group over here, most people can't do it, so just get rid of it.
Right.
Most people can't Ernie.
That's true. Can you Ernie? Have you Ernie? No, just kidding.
I can Ernie. I hid an Ernie while I was playing today, and it was a great one. Thank you very much. Patrick looked at me and went, wow, he can hit an Ernie.
It just reminds me of the APP in Atlanta or in Griffin, where Deescu hits an Ernie against Julian Arnold, and then Julian Arnold hits the Ernie right back, and he was like, yeah, little people can do this too. It was so funny.
I really do think that's super funny. But yeah, I mean, I think that's most of my thoughts on the spin serve. Like, there's probably a handful of other random thoughts on it, but I guess, do you have any other thoughts on it before we move on?
Yeah, now to the people out there, when I do beat you, you have no excuses.
Now you'll have no excuse.
Right, exactly. Now I can look you in the eye and I can say, you just need to play better, and you can't say shit to me.
Yes. I do think I will definitely to some degree enjoy people not hanging that over my head, because there are so many people I have beaten that they're like, you only beat me because of that spin serve.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, stop. I'm like, yes, it made my life easier. I get it, but I can beat you without it.
Right. It's not a big deal, honestly. I also think that, I don't know why USAP or the rules committee just makes everything a drop serve, right? Just
Why don't they do it?
Yeah, why don't they? Because nobody can regulate the volley serve. Nobody can see your wrist, or you know, some of those parameters that you have to meet to hit a proper volley serve. you can't enforce that.
I definitely think at some point our only serve in the game is going to be a drop serve. Mm-hmm. I'd almost argue in the next 2 years it happens. And part of me really doesn't like that because I feel like it takes a sport that some people already view as looking silly, and now for your serve, you're dropping it on the ground like a kid would to like learn how to hit a tennis ball. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it gives us a weird look, but I don't know. I think it's going to be the only way you simplify all the rules. Hit it however you want, but you got to drop it.
I think it's fine. I don't care if we look weird or not. We already look weird. I don't think it's going to get any better. I mean, we're hitting a plastic ball over a net into a box. There's just, there's no, have you seen the faces you make when the photos I took? I hope some of you guys out there, have you seen the reel that Chris edited together with his face and all the funny contortions he makes? Gosh,
I wish
silly.
I wish I could just relax. I feel like if I had a coach, like a high level coach or something, they would be like, every body or bone in your body must be tensing when you hit that ball, and I'm gonna need you to just stop. I looked at all the pictures of you, could hardly find. I maybe found one or two where you looked kind of silly, but generally you just look relaxed.
I was actually upset that you didn't get any funny faces of me. I was like, where are mine? I know I make some funny faces, so I was genuinely
Dude, you just
upset.
don't. You just look normal when you hit the ball. It's ridiculous. It must be nice. It must be nice to not look stupid when you play pickleball. Oh my gosh. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of our thoughts on the spin serve. Probably going to be gone 2023, almost guaranteed at this point.
I'm still gonna be acing you. I'm still gonna be acing people. I'm working on some different serves right now. I've
got a tournament this weekend. You'll all hear the podcast after that tournament happens, but I'm gonna let them rip. We're definitely gonna make sure that people get their last couple months worth of these spin serves.
Yeah, you're right. Me too. I'm gonna let it rip as well. It's you guys are gonna be aced left and right until it's officially banned. Just know it right now.
I should make a video of myself like a minute before midnight doing my last spin serve of the year. Probably hit it into the net or something stupid.
For New Year's. You gonna give it a proper eulogy to the spin serve? You know, dig a grave.
You gotta. Oh my gosh. Barry Zane in it. You will be missed, Zane. But yeah, so you just got back from another Atlanta trip. I was unable to go to that one because my anniversary was in between the tournaments, but it was just right after the Golden Qualifier APP. Then PPA had one just like 40 minutes outside of that one.
Yep.
Tell me about how that went.
Okay, so it was in a suburb of Atlanta called Peachtree City. And Peachtree City is a very interesting suburb. They have over 100 miles of golf cart track, and almost every household, I feel like, had a golf cart, and you could traverse through the city, between neighborhoods, through some nice wooded areas. You can go to the Chick-fil-A, you can go to the grocery store. There's actual parking lots for your golf carts. And some people had some souped up golf carts. I saw a golf cart with rims. And I was like, what?
What the heck? Yeah, that sounds so cool, though.
It was super cool. And they had LED lights, shining. They were having a good time.
People know how to jam over there.
Right, exactly. But other than that, it was great. First of all, because you weren't there. I was sick and tired of you from the previous weekend. Just kidding. No, we missed you.
This is. You remember when Shay was like, "Who hurt you?"
Yeah, it was
these. I'm gonna save these clips. I'm gonna be saving every time I hear one of these. Gonna timestamp it. So at episode 100, you can be like, "Here's a tribute of every single time Will made fun of Chris."
Well, we replaced you with Kyle Kazuto, that pickleball guy.
Kyle is better looking than me, so that's probably an upgrade in some ways.
Yes, much better looking, taller, better pickleball player. More funny. Ooh.
I mean, he's better than all of us. So
no, he is better than all of us because he beat me and Shay in 5-0 singles. He was, a phenomenal player. He also helped Shay get gold in 5-0 men's doubles. So out of the four of us, Kyle is definitely the best of us for sure.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious. He can also rap, kind of.
many talents. A man of many talents.
A man of many talents. But yeah, other than that, the tournament was great. The venue was, or at least the grounds was really nice. I don't know if I liked the venue that much compared at least to the APP prior, because they didn't have enough dedicated courts. So some of the courts were taped and they were really squeezed really tight.
How many dedicated do you think they had?
3 plus 4. They had 7.
Oh, so that was probably just the pros.
Pretty much. Yeah. I didn't get to play on any of my tournament matches on the dedicated courts. So
I will say I have only been to wait, hang on. I think I've actually only been to one PPA, but the PPA I've been to, now the one you're talking about, and other people's experiences that I've heard from, it feels like the APP is a lot better at getting dedicated courts for almost everyone. And PPA goes, all right, pros, you get the dedicated courts. Everyone else, you are on double-lined tennis courts.
Right, which kind of sucks. I mean, so when I went to PPA in Texas last year, the Texas Open, there was a decent amount of dedicated courts that I also got to play on. And then, of course, Foot Solutions PPA in Mesa, Arizona. At, was it Bellbank? Yeah, Bellbank Park. Like 40 plus dedicated courts.
Okay.
So I played in dedicated courts almost entirely at that tournament. So I guess it probably
so
depends
maybe
on,
it's just a gamble on where it is.
It's just a gamble on which site that they have. But it was a good tournament, a good shakeup for some players. We had some breakout performances. You remember Christian Alshon, who decided to just roll up to you at the APP Griffin and was like, hey, you want to play like some rec games? And you were
how did we not tell this story? I'm thinking about this now. How did we not tell this story on the last episode?
We didn't. I thought we did. I thought we mentioned it.
We didn't.
Okay. Well, let me tell the story. So at the APP in the week prior, I saw a guy I haven't seen before, and he was playing the pros. He was playing pro men's doubles, and I was like, oh wow, he's pretty good. And then I saw his hat, and there was a UVA hat, which is a university in Virginia, which I'm familiar with because I lived in Virginia pretty much all my life. So after the match, I went to go talk to him, and I was like, hey, did you go to UVA? And he went to UVA for 1 year to play tennis there. And he transferred to, I believe he said Chicago shortly after, but really good tennis player. He actually, I feel like I mentioned this, but he won a state or national championship mixed with Anna Bright.
Yep.
And now he lives in Florida, so he gets to play with the Waters or whatnot. But at APP in Griffin, Georgia, he just rolled up real casual in like a tank and whatnot, and he asked you, he's like, hey, can I get, you want to play? Can I get some rec games in with you guys? And Chris, you had no idea who this was.
Absolutely no idea. You guys were in the middle of a game. I was just watching. I was the only one not playing. We basically had 5. I was just waiting to rotate in. Yep. He rolls up and asks, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I want to hit.
Right,
I didn't care who it was. And then he says, let me go get my paddle quick. So he runs out, and Will goes, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
And I said, Chris, you better bring your A+ game. Your best game you've ever played ever, because that guy just played pro and I watched him and he's a beast.
Yes. And we did play and I got mopped.
You got mopped. You held your own though.
I will say, I wouldn't say it's probably the best singles I've ever played. I don't think there's a way for me to accurately know that, but I felt like I played much better than I would have expected to. I only got 2 points, but there were a lot of side outs in there, and the points I did earn, at least from memory, one of them I know I played very well. And maybe the other ones were his errors. I don't know. Either way, I felt like I did pretty good, but he's a very good player. He was super good.
You held your own against him, and Christian had an amazing performance. Let me go through the list of who he beat on his way and he only got fourth. He faced Ben Johns, and the winner of that would play, I think, Federico Staxrud for bronze. So let me go through the list of the people he beat. At least the ones that I remember and that I know. Hayden Patriquin, beat him pretty soundly. Then I forgot who he lost to, but he then played Rafa Hewitt, beat Rafa Hewitt, big win against Rafa. And then he beat Jay DeVilliers, big win. And then he beat Dylan Frazier. Like, what? And then in his match against Ben Johns, he goes up 7-0. He was up 7-0, but he was earning Ben. He was hitting lines. He's just passing shots, but I don't know. He couldn't sustain that level, and Ben just kept it in there, worked his way in, does
Ben
what
just
Ben
did
does.
Ben things. Yeah,
Ben just did Ben things, and Ben took it, and it was I guess it was a little heartbreaking for him, maybe, but it was his first time playing Ben. This is his second pro tournament, but he's made a name for himself.
That's what I was gonna say. We have to remember Atlanta, the one I went to, was his first pro tournament. Been playing pickleball for like 3 months, and then this is his second one, and he goes up 7-0 on Ben. There's established pros who have been in the game for a long time,
right,
who don't go up 7-0 on Ben, let alone beat some of those names all in one tournament.
Right.
So
exactly.
he's going to be a name to watch for sure.
No, for sure. And he's he lives in Florida right now. He trains with the Waters. He knows them. He's kind of like their training partner. So he's going to be good. Let's see. Let's move on to some other people. I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Alvaro Terron. A Tulsa Titan. Shout out to homies. The Tulsa Titans. But Alvaro also had a great performance, at least in singles. I forgot who he played in the first round, but he eventually goes up against, I think it's his third or maybe it's his fourth match. He goes up against Tyson McGuffin, and he gets pickled. The first game, 11-0. And I don't know about you. If I get pickled, I'm probably already checked out.
I was gonna say, I'm gone.
I'm gone. Like, what do I do? Like, how can I even play? Oh my gosh, I don't belong here. I need to play better. Oh my gosh, I'm 3-5 at best. Most of the other things. But he comes back and he beats Tyson. I don't remember the scores, but that's a huge comeback. Like, to come back and beat Tyson.
Crazy. I mean, to get pickled and then win the last two, that's really good. Right.
Here's a cool story about that. So obviously, and probably a lot of you out there know that in the APP in the week prior, I went 0-2, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get a win. I can't leave Georgia without a win. So I get off the court and I won my first round against Pickleball Wall. Shout outs to Pickleball Wall. You know Pickleball Wall?
I don't, but I know the name.
Okay, Pickleball Wall does the halftime shows for the PPA, and he does like rap songs about pickleball.
Oh, it's that guy.
No, super cool guy. So
Pickleball Will meets Pickleball Wall.
That's right.
Should have been Pickleball Waldo.
Pickleball Waldo.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to find somebody. Named Pickleball Waldo. But I get off the court, so I had a win against Pickleball Wall. And as I was leaving the court, I get a call from my buddy James and my friend Katie. And Katie was like, Will, I have good news. And I'm like, Katie, what? And he says, Alvaro just beat Tyson McGuffin. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what? And as soon as I say, what? I turn my head and Alvaro just gets off the court. He's like 5 feet in front of me. We make eye contact. And I'm like, what? And, and then we're all on the phone on speaker and we're just like congratulating Alvaro. And it was a good time. It was a moment,
Yeah.
It was a moment I would cherish.
I mean, that's a super big win.
Right. And
I feel like singles is really starting to get to the point where the competition it's just so high across the board. You've got so many talented singles players that I don't know if one person's going to be able to be that top dominant thing the whole time. I'm sure someone will. Maybe Ben will keep it. People love to do this thing where Ben doesn't win 1 or 2 tournaments, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is reign over."
He's falling off. No,
yeah, like Ben is still going to be Ben. He's obviously still amazing at singles, but I think with so many people coming into the game, it's getting so hard to play against everyone and beat them. So I'll be curious to see how the next year of singles shakes up.
Right, exactly. And to sustain that level and that consistency in singles, it's hard, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, just look at Alvaro. He played Dylan Frazier in next round, and he was coming in hot, but he lost to Dylan Frazier. It's still respectable. I feel like it was 11-7, 11-8 or something like that. I asked Dylan afterwards, and Dylan even said, that was a tough match, like, you know, for him. So, I mean, if Dylan is giving you props, you're good. You're on people's radar. So, two players to look out for. Alvaro and definitely Christian for sure. I think, you know, after those wins, they're on the map, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
no, that's huge for them.
Right. Let's see what else happened. Oh, I got to play against Rafa and Mark Price. That was kind of cool.
Yes. Tell me about this Rafa story.
Okay. So, a gentleman named Ben Bramlett, he goes on social media as 41 Media. He does a lot of the videos for Mark Price. I think he also edits or records some stuff for Pickleball Journey. And I can't remember if Alex Gomez does some stuff for them as well. But shout outs to Ben and Alex, you know, some fellow creatives, videographers. And Ben was like, hey, Will, you want to play? Because he was busy just taking photos and doing videos all day. And I was like, yeah, man, let's play. So we're trying to get some people to play. But it was Championship Sunday. Everybody kind of wanted to watch, or everybody was just warming up to either play or for mixed and whatnot. So we didn't really get a chance to play. But in the corner, we see a big line, right? And it looks like people are playing Around the World or something, but really they were playing King of the Kitchen. And on that court was Mark Price, which is a really notable coach.
Yeah, he's on Instagram.
Right.
You've probably seen his stuff.
Right. I think, is he on YouTube as well or no?
If he is on YouTube, I haven't seen anything.
I haven't really seen him. Well, he was there and Rafa was there, and they were all playing King of the Court. There's a big line, and basically, I mean, not King of the Kitchen. Like, you start in the kitchen, you dink twice, and then anything pretty much goes. And if you make the mistake or the ball lands on your side and the opponent gets a winner, you're out, right? And you just get to the back of the line. So in this regard, the game is not really, like, your partner isn't really your partner because you can kind of sabotage them, right? And I just remember Rafa was like, I'm not leaving, and he's trying to sabotage people. When somebody hits a lob to his partner, he tries to, like, block their view so they would mess up, you know?
That's so savage.
I know, it was so savage, but it was also hilarious. So after that,
you could totally just feed someone like a cross-court shot that feeds them an Ernie or an ATP to get your partner out.
Exactly. But here's the thing. You don't know if you fed a lob, like a bad lob to
you don't know
somebody.
if it's going to come to you.
Exactly. So you have no idea. You don't know if people made alliances or whatnot. I know if you played this game, you would totally be trying to game the system and trying to find the ways to, you know, beat everybody or make alliances.
Only you.
Only me? Only against me?
Yeah. Oh. Everyone else, the rules are fair, but with you, there's some special rules when you play the game.
I wouldn't even be worried. You're not even that good.
We're gonna, you know what? When we talk about our upcoming trips here, we're gonna play this game. The four of us in Nashville.
Okay. All right.
Actually, I guess it doesn't quite work because you technically need more than 4 people. So maybe we'll rain check that, but we'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out. Anyways, so when I got on the court, I went immediately after Rafa because I wanted to see and I wanted to get him out. So I got him out the first 2 times. And then the third time he was out for blood. He was like, oh no. And then he got me back. He does this, I don't even, like a pancake shot, and he's really just toying with me, and I mess up, and I was just really upset because the one time that I asked Ben to capture stuff on video, I mess up. And it was Rafa's idea too. And here's the thing, Rafa watches our stuff because he saw me playing and he was like, hey, you should be YouTubing this. What's going on? And I was like, wait, what? Like,
it's so crazy to me. I mean, we've had a number of people, some pros, say they watch our stuff now, and that's crazy to me. I genuinely wouldn't have expected. Obviously, everyone loves pickleball, right? We're all nerds. We're all trying to consume as much pickleball content as we can. But when I think of the pros, I just don't think of them consuming basically anything that you or I make.
Right, exactly.
So if you're a pro and you listen to the podcast,
shout outs to you.
Shout outs to you, but send me or Will a message. I'd love to know who else listens to this because I think Didn't AJ Kohler tell you who he listens?
Yes, I was just going to mention that. So AJ Kohler, so Shay was talking to AJ because he was trying to do a short little reel with AJ. He knows AJ. I think he was in one of Shay's videos. But
Yeah.
I go up to Shay to ask him something, and then AJ was like, "Hey, you're Pickleball Will," and I was like, "What?"
You're like, you're AJ Kohler.
AJ Kohler. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And
You're
I was
the crab himself.
the crab. Yeah, and he was. I thought maybe he saw me from the podcast, and he probably has. Or
Do you know
from,
how funny it would have been? Sorry
What?
to cut you off. How
Yeah,
funny
go
it
ahead.
would have been to
What?
just go, be like, yeah, I'm Pickleball Will. Who are you?
Okay, that's subtle. That'd be a flex. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but
That
maybe.
would be really funny.
Maybe. Like, who are you?
Yeah. I've never heard of you. Do you ever make it on like championship court?
Oh, hey, if they had a bad season or a bad tournament, they don't make it. That'd be a dagger. They might hit me.
Yeah, that would be a little. Yeah, that would be. You get
that's a
blacklisted by
dagger
that
and
pro.
a little twist in there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. So yeah. Okay. Last person who at least seen some of our stuff is JW Johnson.
This is the best one. This is the best one.
All
by far.
I'm gonna go into this story. First of all, okay, so for those of you who don't know, JW Johnson makes it to the gold medal match, right? And I guess the gold medal. He makes it to the gold medal match in singles against Julian Arnold, and I'm sitting watching the stream. I mean, not watching the stream. I'm actually watching the game, but I took a photo of his paddle and his water bottle, and it's the new Franklin paddle, and I sent it over to Chris, right? And Chris, his immediate thought, this is what his mind goes through. He's like, "Yo, take his paddle." I'm like, "What? Why?" I was like, "Have you no morals?"
Hey, whoa! Before we make me look like a total criminal, let's make it clear that I said as a joke. Let's make that perfectly clear. I didn't say let's commit actual crimes.
Okay, yeah, I'm embellishing a bit, but he did say you should take it and then you should make a video. He says how I stole JW Johnson's paddle, and then so I was like, wow, this man Chris Olsen is really for the YouTube cloud, like for real.
It would have been so good.
It would have been so good. And
I guarantee you that video blew up if you did it. Guaranteed.
No, you're right. It would have blown up, and then I would have asked you to do some RPM tests with it for sure. I would have sent it to you afterwards. We would have mailed it back to him. It would have been fine. It would have been fine. But after he wins and he comes off court, right? He sees me, and I wasn't really planning on talking to him or anything, but he sees me, and then he was like, "Oh, hey, you're the guy," and I'm like, "Huh?" He was like,
you're like, what guy? Is it the good guy or the bad guy?
So you're the guy from the clip, and then who's my mom who almost blew out her eardrums, and I'm like, what? You saw that clip? And it was just the funniest thing. And then I was like, hey, let me take a selfie with you. And he's holding up his trophy, and then I'm saying, I'm gonna do a clap right here. I don't know if it's somebody as good as your mom. And then I got the biggest smile from him, the biggest reaction from him that I've ever seen, because I see JW as just everybody kind of sees him as that stoic dude, and I just thought it was the funniest thing.
No, but now that you got that picture, and put that up with a caption, now what happened after?
Okay, yeah. So I took the photo, I posted it on social media, and I was like, yo, congrats to JW Johnson for taking gold. I'm here trying to applaud or clap for you. I'm sorry that it's not as good as yours. And I tagged Julie Johnson in it, which is his mom. And, everything's going good. I'm feeling good. And then Julie Johnson messages me back, right? And calls me out. And she said, Will, you're so busted. I saw you clapping for Julian Arnold the whole entire stream. And I was like, oh, man. And she was like, I'm going to tell JW. And I was like, please do. I'm here for the drama.
I think this is seriously something I love about pickleball. One, that any pro listens to any of our content, doesn't matter what it is, that they watch any of our stuff. The interaction you had with Julie at MLP, which turned into a podcast clip, which turned into her responding and like interacting with it. And now JW knows who you are, Julie knows who you are, and now it's kind of just turned into a joke.
Yeah.
There's no other pro sport where that would happen, and I think it's just absolutely hilarious.
No, I totally agree. And there's also no other pro sport where I feel that you can get so close to the pros as they're competing.
No, yeah, definitely not.
When I was on Championship Sunday, I was sitting in this corner, and I must have gotten like 7 or 8 texts from people who screenshotted the stream, and they saw me. They're like, "Will, is that you? That's you!" And I was just like, "Yeah, that's me. How are you guys seeing me?" Because there's multiple cameras, and everybody
It's like find Waldo on the stream.
right, exactly. Find Pickleball Will, and I guess it was not hard to find me because I was wearing this exact.
I was gonna
same
say the pink
hat.
Isaac even told me, he was like, "Dude, did you see Will was on the stream? He had his pink hat." So I think your pink hat's a little iconic now.
Okay, there we go. That's right. If you see the pink hat, say what's up.
Yeah.
Say what's up. No, and also it's not even just the pros, but just regular people out there too that just recognize us. I got to give a shout out to Yo and Babs. It was really easy to remember, but these two ladies, it was their first tournament, and they played 3-0 and they got gold, and they were just really funny. They were just asking, they're following me around a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, who's that person? Oh, who's that person?" And they're like, "Oh my gosh, everybody's so good." And I was like, "Nah, you can beat him. You're champions. You got gold."
You got gold.
That's right. You know, they don't they don't stack up.
You
to
point out one of the other random really good pros. You know, that guy didn't even get gold.
Right. Exactly.
That guy didn't even podium.
And then let's see, who else did I meet? You know, man, so many cool people. Oh, we got to shout out to Russo from the Discord. You know, you saw him in the previous week, but he stayed around.
One.
Yeah, he was kind of down on himself because he felt like he didn't perform on one of the other divisions that he played, but I think he podiumed, or I think he got gold in mixed on Sunday.
Yeah, I feel like it was gold. I can't remember, but I remember seeing that in the Discord.
But yeah, man. Good stuff, Russo. Good stuff.
Sounds like it was a pretty good trip overall.
Yeah, overall, you know, it was a good trip. A good trip for sure. And I have to say that the PPA really stepped up their production. I mean, I always feel like they always have good production, but just the board on championship court with the light that shines and whatnot.
That was pretty cool. An electronic board, that kind of flash stuff.
Right.
Even, I will say, I feel like the stream has gotten much better than what it was 6 months ago when I went to a PPA, and just some of the other ones I was watching online. I do think they've improved significantly.
Yeah, for sure. It improved so much, and the content just keeps on improving. You know, I mean, shout outs to Jasser, aka Hella Bay.
Yep.
I got to really talk to him. Super cool guy, super nice guy.
And for those of you who don't know, he is basically, if you see anything video for the PPA on Instagram, or probably anything related to video with the PPA,
all those high quality photos also that you see that the pros post up, that's most likely from Jasser, aka Hella Bay,
or his team. He does have a couple people.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He does. Zach, Taylor Benson, et cetera, et cetera. But unsung heroes for the PPA, for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think he gets enough
hard.
love. Yeah, they travel to every single PPA. Could you imagine traveling to every single PPA event almost every weekend?
It's a lot. I'm not going to lie. I just think back to, I mean, just the video production stuff that I do, filming basically 4 days a week where you are on your feet all day or the majority of the day. And especially something like pickleball where you have to film. You don't have to, but if you want to catch the good points, you have to film almost every point in case something happens. And the filmmaker's curse, at least for me in speed cubing, was always, okay, I'm going to take a break. This guy's clearly on a bad streak and nothing's going to happen. Put the camera down. You've been recording for the last 45 minutes. Boom, best point of the whole thing, and you didn't capture it. So
that's right. That's what it always feels like.
Truly recording and doing all the video stuff for something, APP, PPA, whatever it is, it would be very hard work. So all the stuff you see on social media, make sure you give them some love, because it's hard work.
No, it is definitely hard work, especially for the tournament to go as smooth as they go. I will say it was somewhat of a hack. So from the Texas Open I went to last year, my girlfriend got me some, I guess, dry fit PPA shirts, and they looked very similar to the volunteer shirts over at this PPA. So I wore those on pretty much all my days, and some of the volunteers asked me for help or whatnot. I was like, hey, can you do this or whatnot? And I was like, yeah, sure, I got it. But really I don't, because I don't work here. But when it benefited me, I'm like, yep, I'm with the staff, go to the VIP section, get some snacks here and there.
Yeah, right. No way that happened.
No, it definitely happened. I'm telling you.
You seriously?
Yeah,
it actually did? You're not kidding?
Yeah, the VIP lounge, I went up there and I got some snacks. I got some drinks. Nobody batted an eye. It's amazing.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I can't believe that worked. What the heck?
Come on.
These things aren't that strict, if I'm being honest, when you show up at one of these tournaments. Even stuff like APP, a lot of times they charge a fee to get in, and half the time people don't pay to get in. Right, so exactly. It doesn't surprise me, but that's super funny.
Right, exactly. And besides, even if they did say something, I'd be like, do you not know who I am? Shoot.
Yeah, that's how you want to start your conversation off. They're like, oh, this guy's really arrogant. I thought he was cool. Now I don't.
No. The last funny story that I remember was there was somebody who asked me, he's like, hey, where's your brother? And I'm just like, what? And I could only imagine that they were speaking about you because they probably listened to the pod or they watched the pod. So maybe they think that you and I are brothers. And I mean, I know, we share some Asian blood, but I was like, I don't look nothing like you. But for a split second, as soon as it clicked in my mind that they were referring to you,
yeah,
I was thinking to myself, I'm not Colin Johns.
The joke, it runs too deep. It runs too deep. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I just said, oh yeah, he's back home. He couldn't handle it.
He's too weak.
He's too weak. No, just kidding. No, I told people that you had other obligations.
You were like, he is being an amazing husband, and he is spending his anniversary with his wife and not playing pickleball.
But you were, even when you went to go on your anniversary trip, you played pickleball.
That was her suggestion. She did say we should play some pickleball. So,
okay.
Just saying.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, glad you had a good trip. Sounds like it was a ton of fun. I definitely wish I could have gone to that, but
we're definitely doing more together. I think all four of us. You, me, Shay, Kyle. It'll be amazing.
Think how amazing it would be, because your costs are now split into fourths.
Yes.
Your rental car, your Airbnb, whatever, and you have way more fun because you're with people the whole time.
That's right. Yeah,
I definitely think we got to plan some of those out. I think it'd be cool if you and I did a tournament. I think that would be fun.
Heck yeah. Are we going to do 5-0? I don't know about that, though. Shay?
No.
We do 4-5.
Shay can play 5-0 confidently. I don't know about you in 5-0 doubles yet, but I definitely know I'm not there.
I'm definitely not there in 5-0 doubles.
I think you and I could comfortably play 4-5.
Yeah, I think so too. But 5-0, nah.
Yeah. No, definitely not 5-0. That would be rough. But we'll definitely have to do that. But I suppose while we're on that topic, to kind of wrap up the podcast, we can talk about some of our upcoming trips, because you and I are about to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah. I'll see if I really like you or not.
Yeah, this is how we're going to know. This is going to be the most time we've spent together ever. So coming up here, September 26th to the 29th, me, Will, and Kyle are going to be doing some video production for Selkirk in Nashville with James Ignatowicz.
Yes.
That's going to be fun. Looking forward to some of that. I think you guys, there's one project I'm particularly excited about doing. I think you guys will find fun. I'll talk much more about that when it happens, but we'll leave you guys curious for now about what that might be.
Yeah, James might be one of our next live guests.
Yeah, that could be true. I think it'd be fun. So we'll be there for 26, 29, so about 4 days total, if you count 26 or whatever. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Get to hang out, do a bunch of fun stuff with James. Looking forward to meeting him. And then we'll both go home for a little bit, and then you and I will both be going to Texas to be with Zane for a handful of days. We are going to be working on a little mini doc. I have said for a long time that player stories need to be told in pickleball, so
and we gonna tell Zane.
Yeah, that's right. We are gonna tell him. So I just went to Zane and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Him and I have worked together enough, and he was like, "Yeah, this sounds super fun. Let's do it." So gonna be in Texas, getting him training, and then we're gonna follow him to MLP, and we'll be there for the whole time. So you and I are together.
Super stoked for MLP.
Same. I actually get to go experience one now. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have had any reason to go to one. I think it'll be super exciting to go to that with you. It'll be super exciting to film, get to flex some creative muscles that haven't been used in a bit, more of that documentary style stuff. So I hope the project turns out as cool as I think it will, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. And then you're going to come back to Minneapolis with me after that.
Oh gosh, more Chris.
More Chris. And now he's on my turf.
Oh gosh.
Bring it. You're going to be stuck with me. So we're going to come back to do some stuff with Amrik and Anik. If you listen to one of the previous podcasts, some new breakout pros. They are locals to Minnesota. We're going to film some content with them. That'll be fun. And then we have one other trip after that. I can't talk about that one yet because...
super secret.
Yeah, that one's a little bit more secret. So another cliffhanger for you. But yeah, Will and I are going to be spending most of October together. I think it'll be fun.
If you see us, say what's up. Swing by.
Yeah.
Say what's up.
Please
get a shout on the pod. You know.
Yep.
Tell Chris he's 3'5" at best. You know, it's all good.
You can't encourage the people to do it. But you know what? Do you know what I have to say? I actually don't think I told you about this comment.
What?
Yeah, I haven't told you about this one. So I got a YouTube comment on my spin serve video, and I said something to the effect of, basically I just said I was a 4-0. I don't remember in what context, but somehow I just said I'm a 4-0 player. And someone in the comments goes, dude, you're way underselling yourself. Like, you're definitely better than a 4-0. And I commented back and said, this is the only place on a pickleball video ever that I have seen a commenter say that the person who said they were a certain skill level was better than what they claimed. Because you know, every time someone says, this is 5-0 gameplay, people are always like, nah. That's 3-5 gameplay at best if you come to South Dakota, bro. Like, we ball hard in South Dakota. Something like that. You know, it's like...
Yeah.
So I had to write back to him and be like, dude, I really appreciate you saying that, but I've never seen someone say that anywhere in pickleball.
Chris. You're welcome, Chris. It's all framing. I've been setting this up since the inception of this podcast. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, I will take it. If people want to say I'm better than a 3-5, it's a good day.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you are. Once you podium or whatever, right? You can say, yeah, I podium as a 3-5. It doesn't matter. That's all.
Maybe that's what I will start saying to the people I beat at the tournaments is, just so you know, I'm a 3-5 and I beat you.
Oh my gosh. You are just sprinkling salt into their wounds.
But I'll be, this is all Will. Will built this whole thing. Just if you want to yell at someone, he's the guy you got to yell at.
Oh, please. Bring it.
Yes,
I'm all for it.
Ring it. So yeah, that's what we've had going on. That's some news that's been happening. We're gonna have a lot of exciting stuff coming up, both YouTube content and podcast stuff. Excited to do more of it. I think you guys are gonna see some really fun stuff over the next well, maybe not in the next month because we have to edit everything and build it all, but probably come November, you're gonna see a lot of cool stuff. You will see some cool stuff in October,
will see some
but
stuff. For sure.
There's a lot to be made. So, good episode, Will. This was a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, always fun. Always a pleasure, Chris. All right, catch you, I guess, in the next one. Peace.
Yep. Later, guys.